So in my last video, a viewer there commented, and I say viewer because I don't know if you're a subscriber or not. And if you're not, definitely subscribe because this video is for you. And he went along and said, I would really love a video about finding and matching the key of a sample, especially when you want to add plugins to a sample. But also in the same video, another viewer there commented, and he said, I do have an issue with sampling, tuning, pitching, and finding the right key. So pretty much I feel like both of you guys are having the same obstacle, and you yourself is probably going through this right now. So in today's video, we're going to cover all of that. So make sure you watch to the end so you can grasp the whole concept. And I'm going to show you a couple tricks too, man. So make sure you stick around. Let's get into it. All right, so I got the sample pulled up, and one thing I want to point out is that once you put it on start and you're trying to move the cursor and it's not going, for some reason, I don't know, I guess that's a bug. And the quick fix to this is just to go to slice, double tap on slice, and just click all. And once you click all, then you're able to move it around again. And hopefully they fix that in the near future. But anyways, this is pretty much the sample. So you get the point. It's just like a slow vibe, but there's a lot we can still work with. I actually like the beginning of this, so I'm just gonna move a bit closer. And I like that initial beginning, so I'm just gonna get a bit closer. So I'm just gonna count out a 1-bar loop, and I like to use pad 16 to loop around so I can get a better sense of it. Move a bit back, 4, 2, 3, 4. That's good enough. I ain't trying to get too crazy about that. So now from here, I know I'm not gonna use anything else, so I could discard, but just in case, I'm just do extract and make this its own chop and press do it. And then I could easily go up here and switch it. And now this is the individual chop. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. So usually after this, my next step when I have a sample is to mess with the tuning, you know, find a different vibe. Now, when you're using tuning, just keep in mind that it's also changing the pitch and it's also changing the tempo. So this is not where you're gonna change the pitch and keep the tempo the same. This is where you're gonna hear both the difference. And this is good if you have like a fast track or a slow track, because for me, it's like if I hear something fast, I probably want to slow it down. And I also want to hear it in a different key. So it kind of gives you the best of both worlds in a sense. So we could just mess around with it. This track is kind of slow. Let's see how it sounds sped up. Different vibes that you get, and even if you go lower, dark vibe. Now that we have the tune where we want it to be, now I want to go to process because I need to figure out what the tempo is. So then I just go to time stretch again, and you can see that it has it on 89 BPM. And I know that's correct because it's 4 beats. Anytime you have a loop and you count out the amount of bars, just understand if it's a 4/4 time signature, and let's say you have like a 2-bar loop, there is 4 beats in 1 bar. So in 2 bars, there's gonna be 8 beats. So that's how you're gonna really dial in your time stretch. And I only counted out 1 bar, so that's why there's 4 beats, and it gives me the exact tempo, 89/12. Now, I'm just gonna actually put this up to 90 just to kind of take it to a boom bap kind of route. I could just easily press do it. So now I got it sounding good right here. Now here's the cool trick. So I could assign it and put it on a pad, and then I could also assign it again and do new sample to pad. So now that's going to create a copy of it. So you can see one is going to be chop and the one is going to be chop 1. Chop 1, I'm going to change that to -4, and chop, I'm gonna keep that the same. So now it will sound something like this when I go back to main. So I could then like have a switch off with that, and it just works. And another way you could have done this is go to 16 levels. So the more I go up, the faster the tempo and the pitch is. And vice versa. And then pad 6 is the default one that I have. And then pad 4 is actually the other one. Now here's the thing though, when you sampling live music versus music that's kind of already, you know, quantized in a sense, doing the 16 level route might not be the best, because if it's live music, you can hear how there's a little bit of pause. Now, if I wanted to be more cleaner than that, I would still take it back to the sample edit route. And what I mean by that is I will go to my other chop that I made, make sure I process it, and you can see that this is at 71. I want to still kind of keep it consistent. Actually change this to 90 so it can match the other one a bit better. So now if I change my project tempo to 90 and record this in, let's see how that sounds. So now that I recorded, keep in mind though, you still want to go to track edit and make sure that you have it cutting off on one another, because it's just on all one track, and you can see it's on polyphony. So you can see how it kind of overlapped. You just want to put that to a mute group. So I'm going to put that to mute group 1 and put this to mute group 1. Now what this does when you put it to mute groups, that means it's just going to cut off on each other. When you hear it back, it's not going to have that weird cutoff going into the next pattern. Now, I did mention in the beginning of the video that the MPC does have a detect pitch, and you could access that by going to the second screen by hitting this arrow. And then right here, it says detect key. So it says it's in E minor. When it comes to anything less than 4 bars, it's kind of accurate when it comes to finding the keys. And if I was to play this out and then also use my piano, we could test it. Sounds pretty good to me. So they did a good job. Like I said, as long as it's, you know, not so much going on, all these different kind of melodies, if it's simple, it can detect it. And if it's a one shot, it's definitely going to detect it. So you just got to experiment with yours. Now here's how we're going to add like our plugins and our 808s. So let's just go to a new track and let's just go to a plugin. Just going to pick out a piano sound, Studio Grand. Now, here's the thing. This icon way at the bottom right corner, which looks like Connect 4, you just click that and that brings you to Pad Perform. And you can also do my favorite way, hold down Shift and then hit 16 levels. And you also get to Pad Perform. Now, since the MPC says it's an E minor and it was, all we have to do here is go to our notes and change it to E, and then change the major to minor. And now whatever melody we play will be in sync with our sample. And now we can't really go wrong with this. All these notes will go well. Now, another thing, like I said, if the MPC didn't detect it properly, here's the other alternative way you could have gone about this. Go to Shift 16 levels to get to Pad Perform and just go to Chromatic. Now, if I have it on C, it's going to show all the notes. So like you see on the keyboard, it's just going to show all the notes. And all you have to do is just like press a few notes and see what goes with the record. So you could just kind of hear which notes are off, and then you'll be able to decide, okay, I like these 4 notes. Because when it comes to melodies, melodies is like only 4 notes really. So it's not like you gotta really always know the key and know the scale, because you can always use your ears. Now let's add an 808, because I know that's also another thing, because sometimes the 808 itself could be in a whole different key. So for example, like that, right here at the top, it says it's in the key of A. So we could always double check, because like I said, when it comes to one shots, the MPC could detect that. So let's detect key. It says A major. Just in case you didn't have the key to your 808, you can always double check right here. Now to make it sync with your project, all you have to do is change the root note to A. And it's that simple. It don't matter. It don't have to be on A3 or A2. It could be on any A. And then now I could just go back to the key group and do the same thing. Have it on E minor, bring it up a few octaves. and then I can mess around and play with it. So yeah, I know this was a simple beat and it wasn't mixed properly or whatever, and you may not like it or may like it, but I want you to always stay focused on the concept. Don't lose sight on, you know, okay, what you can learn from the video, because a lot of people like to just watch videos and then nitpick at a lot of things and then miss the point. So I hope you didn't miss the point of how you can use pitching and tuning to your advantage, and understanding that finding the key is not a hard thing. You can always just Google search this, or you could just always mess around if you have a keyboard and just hit the notes until something sounds right. At the end of the day, just trust your ears, like I always say, and like and subscribe, share with your other producer friends that are having the same issue, and let them know it's actually simple. Peace.